The entertainment world has been shaken by the heartbreaking news of Malcolm-Jamal Warner's passing. Known for his remarkable talent, charismatic presence, and a career that spanned decades, Warner was more than just an actor. He was a cultural icon who left an indelible mark on television history. Now, in the midst of global mourning, his mother, Pamela Warner, has opened up about her son's final moments, offering a glimpse into the peace that surrounded him at the end of his life. News of Malcolm-Jamal Warner's death came as a shock to fans and colleagues alike. The actor, beloved for his role as Theo Huxtable on the legendary sitcom The Cosby Show, passed away at the age of 54. While many were left grappling with questions, it was Pamela Warner's heartfelt statement that provided both comfort and closure. Speaking through her family's representative, Pamela revealed this was his time. Malcolm did not suffer. He passed peacefully, surrounded by love. Her words painted a picture not of tragedy, but of a man whose journey had reached a natural, dignified conclusion. Malcolm-Jamal Warner's career began when he was just a teenager, and he quickly became one of America's most recognized faces. Starring alongside television legends, his portrayal of Theo Huxtable brought humor, relatability, and authenticity to the small screen. But Warner was never defined by a single role. He went on to establish himself as a director, musician, poet, and activist. Over the years, he worked on projects like Read Between the Lines, The Resident, and Major Crimes, showcasing his versatility. Off-screen, Warner poured his heart into music and spoken word poetry, using art to reflect his personal growth and deep understanding of the human condition. While Pamela Warner didn't elaborate on the cause of death, close friends have noted that Malcolm had been quietly dealing with health challenges in recent years. Those who knew him say he faced these struggles with remarkable strength, often prioritizing his craft and his loved ones over his own hardships. His mother's statement that he did not suffer offers comfort to the millions who admired him, and it suggests that his final chapter was one of acceptance and peace rather than pain. Following the announcement, tributes poured in from across the entertainment industry. Fellow actors, directors, and musicians remembered Warner not just as a gifted performer, but as a kind, grounded, and generous soul. Felicia Rashad, who played his on-screen mother for years, shared an emotional post. "Malcolm was my son in every way that mattered. I watched him grow into a man of integrity, creativity, and love. My heart is broken, but I am grateful for every moment." Fans took to social media to share their favorite memories, from his witty one-liners on The Cosby Show to his heartfelt performances in later works. Many expressed gratitude for the joy and inspiration he brought into their lives. Pamela's statement, brief yet profound, reflects a mother's ability to see beyond grief. By saying this was his time, she acknowledged a truth that can be hard to accept. Sometimes, even in loss, there is peace. Friends of the family say Pamela was a constant presence in Malcolm's life, offering unwavering support throughout his career and personal struggles. Her ability to find comfort in the natural cycle of life is something many found inspiring. Malcolm-Jamal Warner's influence reaches far beyond his filmography. As one of the few young black male actors in the 1980s to be given a major role, in a primetime family sitcom, he helped break barriers and open doors for future generations. His commitment to portraying nuanced, authentic characters was a quiet form of activism that resonated deeply with audiences. Warner also mentored young actors, spoke out on issues of race and representation, and used his platform to uplift voices that often went unheard. In music, his jazz-influenced spoken-word albums earned critical acclaim, showing yet another facet of his artistry. Plans for Malcolm's funeral are expected to be private, attended by close friends and family. However, a public memorial celebrating his life and career is reportedly being discussed. For fans, it will be a chance to come together in love and remembrance. As Pamela Warner so beautifully expressed, her son's journey has come full circle. In his lifetime, Malcolm-Jamal Warner gave the world laughter, inspiration, and artistry. And in his passing, he leaves behind a legacy that will continue to touch hearts for generations. Malcolm-Jamal Warner's passing is more than the loss of an actor. It is the departure of a soul whose work, kindness, and integrity left a mark far deeper than the characters he portrayed on screen. For decades, his name was synonymous with artistry and authenticity. But to those who knew him personally, he was so much more than a performer. He was a son, a friend, a mentor, and a man who understood the value of living with purpose. His mother's words, "This was his time," carry a bittersweet weight. They speak of acceptance even in the face of heartbreak. Death, for all its cruelty, can sometimes be a quiet doorway into peace. Pamela Warner's statement does not diminish the grief that countless fans and loved ones feel. Rather, it offers a perspective rooted in love. She reminds us that sometimes a life, no matter how bright, has reached its natural chapter's end, and that the person we mourn may have been ready to take that final bow. Malcolm-Jamal's legacy cannot be measured solely by his on-screen achievements, though they were many. From his iconic breakthrough role that brought him into the homes of millions, to the more nuanced and deeply human performances later in his career, he proved time and again that he was more than just a familiar face. He was an artist unafraid to evolve. He stepped into roles that challenged stereotypes, that brought depth to black characters in mainstream entertainment, and that resonated with audiences across generations. But his artistry extended beyond the camera. Those close to him speak of his unwavering dedication to uplifting others. Young actors often recalled his patience, his willingness to guide, and his refusal to let them settle for mediocrity. He wasn't one to shout his influence from rooftops. Rather, his mentorship came quietly, often without recognition, but always with sincerity. He understood that true greatness lies not just in personal success, but in the ability to help others succeed. His personal philosophy, "I just want to leave the world better than I found it," was not a line for interviews. It was his compass. Whether through charity work, his support for emerging artists, or his genuine kindness in everyday interactions, he lived by that creed. That is why, in the days following his passing, social media became a flood of heartfelt tributes. They weren't simply recalling moments from his career, they were remembering moments of human connection. Fans shared stories of meeting him at events, where he would take the time to ask about their lives. Colleagues recalled his generosity of spirit on set. Friends spoke of the laughter and the late-night conversations that could stretch into the early hours. And yet, like all human beings, Malcolm-Jamal's journey was not without challenges. He faced the weight of fame from an early age, a burden that has derailed many young stars. The entertainment industry can be ruthless, quick to define and confine talent into narrow boxes. But he navigated that terrain with remarkable composure. Even when faced with career lulls, he refused to let his identity be swallowed by the roles he once played. Instead, he kept creating, exploring new avenues in music, directing, and writing. His life was proof that reinvention is possible, that resilience is not just a word, but a practice. Pamela Warner's reflection on her son's passing reminds us of something profound. Grief and gratitude can coexist. She grieves for the son she will no longer hug or hear laugh, but she is grateful for the years they shared, for the man he became, and for the peace she believes he found in his final moments. It is a reminder to all of us to treasure the time we have with those we love, because life is fragile, and none of us know when our own time will come. Malcolm-Jamal's departure leaves a void that will not easily be filled, but he also leaves behind an enduring example of how to live a meaningful life. His artistry may have introduced him to the world, but it was his humanity that made him unforgettable. As we reflect on his life, we might also reflect on our own. What are we doing to make the world better than we found it? Are we extending kindness to those around us? Are we pursuing our passions with authenticity and courage? Malcolm-Jamal's story is a testament that success is not defined solely by accolades, but by the positive ripples we leave behind. In the grand narrative of life, few of us will have the chance to be seen by millions, but all of us have the chance to touch the lives of those around us, to leave behind warmth, kindness, and inspiration. Malcolm-Jamal Warner understood that. And that is why, even though his physical presence is gone, his spirit will continue to inspire for generations to come. To the fans who grew up watching him, he will always be part of their personal history, a familiar face that brought laughter, comfort, and meaning to countless evenings. To his colleagues, he will be remembered as a consummate professional who carried himself with dignity in an industry that doesn't always reward it. To his family, he will forever be the loving son whose heart was bigger than his fame. And so, we say goodbye with heavy hearts but also with gratitude. We honor the joy he gave us, the lessons he taught us, and the example he set for living with purpose. Rest in peace, Malcolm-Jamal Warner. The world will never forget you, not just for what you gave to entertainment, but for the light you shared with everyone fortunate enough to cross your path. Your time here may be over, but your impact will live on,